If you just logged in, it's Jourds on Reprezent Radio. It's 10:17 in the mañana. Monty Keats is joining me straight from TikTok. 1.2 million followers and growing on a daily basis. How are you doing, Monty?
I am very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. I cannot complain. You came in nice and early. You got in 30 minutes earlier than intended to.
I always do that. I'm
You're
like,
so good.
I have a chronic fear. If I'm late, I can't do it.
You can't deal with it. Yeah, I'm a bit the same. How have you been? You've been doing absolute wonders on social media. You got taken with Jack Wills to, what was it, Ibiza?
Yeah, we went to their Ibiza house. Yeah.
Like, what in the world? I mean, how did that come about?
I've worked with Jack Wills before.
Yeah.
And last year they did like a little house. I think it was in like Surrey or something. And they just invited a load of creators down. They stayed in the house for a couple of days, made some content, had fun, and I guess social media liked it, so they were like, yeah, let's put it on a bigger scale.
Back again.
And yeah, it was...
This was private jet.
It was...
Private jet, hun.
I was there like... Oh,
living large.
I'm from Slough, this isn't...
What's going on? I feel like a Kardashian.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, with TikTok, how would you even describe what it is that you do on there? Because you're very kind of like observational, that I would say.
I think my TikTok is very much like an inner monologue outward. Like, I get most of my ideas, like, if I see something weird in public, I'm like, do you know what, I need to just run my mouth about this. I need to just tell everyone. And I don't know, there must be some sort of comedic flair behind it. I obviously watch my videos back and I'm like, oh my god, this is not funny.
You're judging yourself.
I show every video I film to my brother and I'm like, is this funny? And he's like, I don't get it. And if my brother doesn't get it, then it's funny and I have to post it.
Oh my god, so that's how you get your... okay. Yeah. So you get your flair and you say, is this going to run? Doesn't like it? Right, it's going to work. And then it blows off on TikTok. How long have you been doing it for?
I started posting TikToks when I was like 17. When I was in...
Was that 2018 or something? Not 17.
Oh, don't ask me to do maths right now. Yeah, it probably was 2018, 2019. I was in year 12.
Oh my.
Yeah.
So this is happening for you very young.
Yeah, it was.
How do you...
like 2 weeks ago.
Happy birthday, happy belated.
I think you did actually say happy birthday to me, don't worry.
No, I did, didn't I?
Yeah.
I did. What am I like? Okay, this is happening at a very young age and kind of amassing a following of like 1.2 million people recognizing you in the streets. How have you kind of like transitioned from, I suppose, not being known to now having 1.2 million followers around the world that know who you are? That's still
really, it's still rogue to me. I'm like, what's going on? But it was a slow process. Like, it took me like 3 odd years to like really get the ball rolling.
Really?
Yeah, like things didn't really pick up until like 2 years ago. So like, and then yeah, things just sort of, in like this year definitely has been like the best year ever for me in terms of like my career on social media and how it's going and the things I've been able to do. And that's definitely been an adjustment. Like going on a private jet, I was a bit like, oh, this is strange. But I don't know, it's always just been like, I never want to like accept that this is like my life right now. I'm like, things are going to get better, things are going to keep going, only way is up and whatnot. So I'm going to just hope for the best, keep going and keep my head on and just go for it.
Sorry, I had to turn the aircon off because I could hear it blowing in the distance. But that must be incredible for you, though.
Yeah.
But to also hear that it's taken kind of like 3 years in the making, and now you're really kind of like finding your feet. I think that's quite an interesting one, because I think, especially when it comes to social media, people think that, you know, things can happen overnight, which of course they can. Yeah. But obviously hearing for you that it's been kind of like 3 years and now you're finding, you know, your place and you're seeing the momentum growing, is a really, really interesting take on it. Do you ever get like, I mean, I get it sometimes, but do you ever get like imposter syndrome where you think to yourself like...
Every day, literally every day. Really? I wake up every day and I'm like, what is going on? Like, I went to the Brits, for example. Like, that was the whole time I was there. I was like, you shouldn't be here. You should not. I couldn't actually like fully enjoy it because the whole time I was like, and obviously I shouldn't be there. I don't know why I was there.
Yeah.
Like, I guess it's like promotion or things like that, but I'm so grateful that I went, but the whole time it was like, I was on edge. I was like,
really?
I couldn't actually like fully involve myself in the
and
situation.
immerse yourself into the experience.
But I'm sort of learning to like get over that.
How do you deal with it?
Well, like, you know, it was hard work. Like, a lot of people think that, you know, you just, like, for some people they do post a video and they just wake up the next day and it's got like 10 million views.
Crazy, yeah.
But like I started posting when it wasn't cool to be on social media. I had so many people giving me so much grief about it, and I was like, just carry on. And to fully like actually make social media your job, you can't get off it. Like you like everyone, you have a bad day, you're not in the mood to, you know, tell a joke. You can't have days like that. Like you really have to push yourself all the time and put yourself in those kinds of situations that really make you uncomfortable. Yeah. Because, you know, this is good for you and you want to get used to those kinds of things. Yeah. So that's what I tell myself. I'm like, you know, everyone starts somewhere. You
give yourself a pep talk and a bit of a kick up the backside, and you say, I'm
not taking it for granted.
Exactly. Keep at it, keep going. That's a side of social media that I don't think people, those that aren't kind of like content creators and influencers, I feel like they have a bit of a hard time understanding how difficult it is kind of being in this kind of industry. And they often just think, oh, you just take a picture and then you get paid, or oh, you just make a bit of content and that's it. I feel like slowly the narrative is changing a bit, but the second that, you know, all of a sudden TikTok is down or Twitter is down, everyone's laughing on Instagram being like, haha, your favorite content creator is no longer going to be, you know, like what happened to Adhd the other day? Yeah. And everyone in the comments like celebrating and stuff like that. It's bad, isn't it? Yeah. It's bad.
It is. Like, there are a lot of people that genuinely, like, if they don't like you, like, I've always thought, when people are like nasty online, it's so much easier to just like scroll. Like, it genuinely like uses less muscles in your finger just to scroll past it than to type or send it to someone and like try and violate them and just be horrible. Like, it costs nothing just to just be nice. It doesn't cost anything to be horrible either, but you'd rather be nice.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. You've got a lot of support, not only on TikTok but on Instagram as well, on YouTube that you dabble with. Are we gonna see you committing to YouTube?
I find it really hard. Like,
really? Yeah.
It's probably like, because it's not so much like physical work, it's like mental work. Because of all the content that I do online, I can like be in like a good headspace, and I don't have to be in a good headspace the whole time. But like, people on YouTube, they like vlog their whole week. I'm like, what if I want a day where I just want to like scream in my bedroom and not do anything?
Draw the curtains and just chill in bed, eating popcorn and watching Netflix.
Some people do share that side of themselves. Some people do share like the less glamorous bits. But I can't do that. I really can't. I struggle so hard being like, hey guys, had a bit of a bad day, that's why I haven't posted. I'll just not post and be like, oh, I'm back, I'm fine, see ya. Yeah. And
so that's one of the reasons why you don't think that you'll be able to...
Yeah, because I always see YouTubers being like, sorry, no upload this week, I've had a bit of a rough week, and I'm like, you're brave. Yeah. I could never do that.
No, that's not me. Yeah. I'll stick to TikTok. Gonna get into a bit of music and then come back for part 2. We were just chatting about ADHD and how you deal with it and manage it on a day-to-day basis. Especially considering that we, do content creating. Yeah. And some days you may not feel like you want to create content. Yeah. How do you manage having ADHD?
See, I think it's one of those things that people really don't take seriously yet.
No.
Like, I sometimes get in these moods where, like, I physically can't start. Like, the actual process of starting something is way more overwhelming to me than actually doing the task itself, because once I start, I'm like, the pressure of finishing it gets me. And I have to do things like, because my life isn't the same every day, I have like strict things that I have to do every day, because I feel like if there's some form of schedule, I don't get in that rut and I don't get like upset with myself, because it is really frustrating sometimes where I'm like I'll forget to eat all day, and I'll get to the end of the day and I'm like, oh my god, you've not eaten, and then it's 10 o'clock at night and I'm like, the pressure now, I'm like, oh, I have to start
overwhelming
cooking. I'm gonna then go to sleep it's like sort of like anxiety, but I don't feel anxious about it. I just feel so like, what do I do? Nothing. I just it's easier to just freeze.
And then you'll just go to bed, will be dinner.
Yeah. Sleep for food. So like, I love running, really helps. I go for a run every day. which obviously doesn't help me. I'm as skinny as it is.
Stop it.
But it really helps.
Well, as long as it's helping your mental health, and that's the best thing,
100%. If I don't have days where I was in hospital a couple of years ago for quite a while, and literally being immobile for that long really just got me. It's something about dopamine. My doctor was telling me the people with ADHD have to produce more dopamine, just everything's stimulant based,
because it's what does it stand for? Attention hyperactive deficit,
something like that,
disorder or something. Yeah It's
I can't if I'm not moving, I just get really, apparently, because our brains are all stimulation based, if you're not stimulating it, it really just shuts down. So I have to just constantly do things. But then things like nicotine are so much more addictive, because you want to stimulate your brain, and when there's little shortcuts, it's things like that. I really have to try and
So would you say that it will probably be easier for you to get quick for you to get addicted to certain things? Yeah. So you have to be careful with alcohol and
right away. Yeah.
So you just have to be everything in moderation, so that you don't go down that path. I always
say this, I have to do everything in moderation. Even if I like a certain food, I will eat that food every day for a month, because I'm this hits the spot. This makes my brain itch.
Oh, I'm loving that McSpicy, so I have it twice a day for the foreseeable future. Yeah. Oh my! And how do you find that translates when it comes to relationships and stuff?
One thing, my emotional intelligence. Inside it's really good. Outwardly, I just sometimes
it won't
sometimes I sound like I do not care.
Wow.
Which I do, but say if I'm being told off, I'm I'm really sorry, but I don't sound sorry at all. I don't know why that is, but it's just always been
the way that you are.
And I also get really infatuated with people really quickly. As soon as someone makes
But would
me
you
feel
tell
good,
them, or would it just be internally? Yeah. God no, I couldn't think of anything worse.
Couldn't literally. I really I fall for people like that. At the moment someone gives me that dopamine hit of they're great, I love them so much, I'm obsessed with them.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
But it's internally, you're not letting them know just yet.
I saw, because Izzy Oakley.
Yeah.
She's got really bad ADHD as well, gang. And she makes videos about it all the time as well. I like her videos.
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I think it's really important, the fact that you're so open about it, to have conversations, because the more awareness that we can spread about it, the more that people can recognise their behavioural patterns and think, oh my gosh, okay, that is something that I potentially see in myself. What were they like in school with you? Were they able to help you out?
In primary school, I had little sticker charts and things like that, and that helped. In secondary school, it was very much just, how they're sit down, don't move, don't fidget, look at the board. And I couldn't do that.
Nah.
I'm my foot's going, oh my God, the white wall is more interesting than whatever's going on the
They
board.
need to change the school educational
100%.
system, because not everybody is logical.
No, I'm not.
Some people are practical.
Yeah.
And then you've also got, everybody learns in different ways.
Yeah.
I think that there's an actual terminology for it, where as I say, some people are more practical, some people are, more thinkers, etc. And then you've got, learning difficulties. And I feel like the system just needs to be spun on its head, so that everybody has got a fighting chance in learning and being able to,
I was never I didn't revise. I never revised.
Yeah, same.
I couldn't do it. To be honest, I'm quite lucky, because I've always been not naturally intelligent.
But,
I wouldn't go that far, but I've always had my head screwed on, and that helped. But I never revised or anything. I couldn't do it.
Same.
Sitting down, I could revise. I did music and things like that. I loved the practical side, but everything else.
Oh, not the same. I would much rather cause absolute havoc in the class by crawling underneath the chairs and picking on people's toes and get a detention for it than learning the Pythagoras theorem.
My friends, on Snapchat you get flashbacks.
Yeah.
The amount of videos I get sent of me sleeping under a desk, me throwing someone's phone to everything's on impulse with me, though. I really I was annoying in school. Now I look at these videos back, I'm oh my God, no wonder no one liked you. But to be honest, I would have liked myself.
I do look back at myself and I'm oh, you was a little git, weren't you? Yeah, I really caused some havoc in school. Having a big following on social media, do you ever get that kind of inward thought of, oh my God, what if this you know, what if this person only wants to be friends with me because I've got a lot of following? What if, you know, this guy that I'm going to go on a date with finds my TikTok and then finds out that I've got a large fan? Like, how do you deal with that?
I mean, like, I feel like I try not to assume, because I feel like that's a bit narcissistic if I'm like, someone's only into me, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But there have been times when, like, I've met people and they've just said things, and instantly my mind cannot help but just be like, red flag. They do not care about you as a person in the slightest. Like, you know, like things like dating apps and Hinge, people will match me, and like the thing that they'll say is like, swear I've seen you on TikTok, or like, oh, come on, 100k on Instagram and things like. I'm like, what does that mean? How am I supposed to reply to that? A, without looking like a complete and B, without like feeding into something that I don't want to talk about as the first thing that I want to talk about. Like, I'd rather you be like, how are you? What's your favourite colour? Well, not that actually, who cares about that? Just like nice things before they're just like genuinely being interested in you before seeing the numbers and everything else. How do you kind of waver between working that out? Is it based just upon what it is that they come out with and how they behave? On interaction. And I've had people, like, if I'm not interested in them, as I'm allowed to be, like, you know, like when I'm on a night out, I'm like, oh, sorry, like, you know, when you lie and say you've got a boyfriend or whatever, they're always like, oh, okay, you think you're better than me, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, whoa, that was clearly pent up in you from the start, because that is never the case. And that's another thing that I get, and I'm like, can't deal with it.
Got to deal with a lot, ain't ya?
I see that. Then again, like, I'm so happy in this, like, career path and everything. Like, I never really saw myself doing this. Yeah. And now I'm doing it. I'm like,
this was made for me. How was I?
I was going to be an architect.
That. Oh, gosh. 8 year studies. You came out of it to do this. Oh, I love that. Going to get into a bit of music and then come back to get your thoughts on a couple of things. If you just looked in, it's Jourds on Reprezent Radio. It is 10:41 a.m. on this bright Wednesday morning. Joined by Monty Keats. I merged the two. Yeah. I merged the two together. And we got a dual name. How are you doing, third part?
Good.
On Reprezent Radio. First time on the station.
Yeah, I mean, I don't do a lot of radio, so this is...
I'm so glad you came through. I am so glad.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it is hot in here, Blue. I'm so sorry. We haven't got long left, hun. We haven't got long left. We're sweating by the bucket loads. The fan is off, so you can only imagine how hot it is inside here. Yeah. So Gay Pride just went. When it comes to social media, why do you think that it's so important for, because I think what is really great about TikTok is how embracing they are of, you know, all these different kind of like periods of time that we go through, months celebrating Black History Month, Pride Month, etc., etc. What do you think the importance is of companies like TikTok jumping on and showing their allyship and support?
Well, for one, it's something that everyone, like most people have TikTok, don't they? Most people use it. I think just seeing that representation mainstream and seeing big companies supporting those things, like, it's nice to think, you know, it's not just for, you know, extra sales and things like that. Like, I know for a fact TikTok are really passionate about, you know, the things that they do. So the Pride Month things, and like you said, Black History Month, they're really active in things like that. Not just like, they don't put up a banner on the app, like they actually like host things and they get creators involved,
events and take their time out to actually like bring people on board that are, you know, advocates and they're, you know,
because, you know, people need to be scrolling through social media, and not only should they see like, you know, funny cat video, they need to see the real world, and they need to see, you know, that people of all different backgrounds and all different genders, sexualities are all, you know, experiencing the same life and sharing it with us, and we should all share it together. And
it's just important to continue driving the conversations, you know what I mean? Like 100%. It should never be stopped.
No, never.
And it always annoys me when people kind of like turn around and they say, oh, but why do we still have to do Black History, but why do we still have to do Pride Month? It's because of people like you. Yeah,
because people like you still question why it should exist in the first place, and if you don't see why it should exist, then you don't know the history, you don't understand the Black History Month. If you're questioning Black history, you need to learn about Black history.
Exactly.
Like, and ask yourself why you, like, it's normally white people that say it, why you as a white person are questioning, why something like that should exist in the first place.
Exactly.
Don't get me started.
Because you'll be here all day.
Yeah.
We've only got 20 minutes left. Do you think that other apps could do better when it comes to showing support?
I don't know. I'm not really as involved with like the actual like teams behind the other apps, but I'm not gonna lie, I don't really see a lot of other apps. Like I've got friends that are bigger on Instagram, friends that are bigger on YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't really tend to see them doing much.
I know.
Which is a shame because like these companies have been around for way longer than TikTok, and they should know. But I mean, at least TikTok is the biggest.
They're setting a
platform,
precedent, and I hope that other companies, no matter how big or small, they take notes.
Yeah, 100%.
And they incorporate that into their workspace.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just like not even just for like the month, but just like in general, just always be an ally to all kinds of minorities, because half the time like we're paving the way for the creative industry. We're doing things for like we're doing big things, and just because we're treated differently, we're shoved down a little bit until we rise to the surface and people finally appreciate it.
We've got to keep rising up, and we always got to rise up. What is next for you? What do you want to do?
See, I've always known that like social media is going to be like, I thought I had like a couple of years on it, but I mean, I love making music. I've always done music. I always used to write songs. I've wrote songs for some friends who like make music and things like that. But at the moment, I'm teaching myself production because I want to learn.
Amazing.
I want to just, be a bit more useful. I don't want to just write words. I want to
be the package.
Yeah.
You want to bring the package.
So yeah, I've been sharing a little bit of my music online, which is really, really daunting. I've never done anything like that before.
Yeah.
When I first started social media, I did post singing videos.
Yes, when I looked back, I read that,
And then I completely stopped because people was saying things in school and I let it get to me.
Oh, no.
And then my comedy stuff took off, so I've stuck to that.
And now you're going to go and do a bit of a 360 and go back to it. Yeah,
I don't want to completely stop comedy. I like, the occasional joke here and there, but I want to... I think for a long time I've been like online and not showing people any other side of me. When
it's time.
I just want to show people.
The time is now.
Sounds so dramatic, but I just
show them. Before you embark on the rest of your day, I'm going to get your thoughts on a couple of things. Tell me honestly, tell me frankly, and tell me from your point of view. Okay, so what are your thoughts on Love Island?
I personally don't like the show, and I know people are probably going to throw stones at me as soon as I walk out the studio. But I just think, there's a lot of like pressure on these people that are just living in a house in Spain, like just trying to live their life. And a lot of these people come out are absolutely like hounded by the public. Some people have even taken their own lives from this show, and it carries on, and people don't learn, and people still give people so much grief. It's like, when will you guys learn that these are real people? Just because they're on your TV kissing someone that they've known for a week doesn't mean that they're not real people. Like regardless of if you don't like them or not, like because I've seen videos, some of them drive me insane as well, but I would never like go out of my way to make someone's life worse, especially when I don't know them.
So you think that it's very counterproductive when 100%. We're trying to spread the hashtag be kind?
100%. Like we're trying to make the world a better place, and then we chuck like 15 people in a house together and
bully them,
rip them to shreds
for 8 weeks. It's a bit
pick
tense.
Favourites and pin them against each other. It just seems a little bit.
So you're not for it? Do not like
it.
Love Island. Thoughts on cancel culture?
I completely disagree. I think when people make mistakes online, they should be held accountable 110%. And there are things that, people should be really held accountable for. Things like racism, homophobia, things that people need to really learn their lesson from. But some people have made really silly, like simple mistakes and have been like hounded for weeks and weeks and weeks. And it's like, it's just a trend to hate on this person now for one mistake that they made.
And then trying to find them based on that, Because,
like, we've all made mistakes in life, We've all done things and been like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have said that. That was not good of me. Can you imagine if any little mistake, can you imagine if, you made one mistake and your whole life, the course of it just changed because of that, and no one was ever willing to give you a second chance? I really don't agree.
So what are your thoughts then on like tweets that get dragged back up from like 2006 and people get dragged down for them?
It depends on the context. Tweets, you see some things people say, and I'm like, how even at 15 years old, what were you thinking?
Saying that,
but then again, like, just as much as we've all been that age. I mean, I've never been racist or homophobic, obviously, because I'm gay. But like, there
Side note,
there are certain things that you have to really look at and be like, right, be fair, you shouldn't have said that. But again, you know, times can change, years can change people, and people can learn, and as long as they're taking, I think the main thing is other people should hold you accountable if you do something wrong, but you above all people should hold yourself accountable and really just take it on the chin and be like, look, I've done this, I shouldn't have done it, and I really hope that we can grow together, just as I've grown since then as well. Yeah,
I think that's a very mature standpoint to have on it, and I think it's something that can be applied in any way, shape or form, taking accountability, whether it's in friendships, relationships, whatever. It's if you've annoyed someone or upset somebody, have a look at yourself and go, they're upset for a reason. I'm sorry about that. Learn from it, grow from it. Gossiping on social media, your thoughts on it?
I think it's fun until it's not fun anymore, and then you've said too much about someone's life. You've hung out someone's dirty laundry that they really didn't want to be out there just so you could get a little bit of attention for 10 minutes, and you don't feel the repercussions of it. That person who you've been gossiping about, those whatever you've been spreading, I'd avoid it.
Avoid it at all costs.
I don't like internet drama.
Yeah, I don't like the trolling. Monty, it's been an absolute pleasure having you in this morning. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you for having
Can't
me.
wait to hear this music. Yeah,
you're
going to have to swing it my way in an email so that we can spin it on Represent first, because we love an exclusive on here.
Definitely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.